All right, all right. What's up, Facebook? So I am in, just finished up my second week of training, and it was uh, it was pretty interesting. Um, we were out of the classroom this week, and we actually were able to do some on-the-job training. So all week I've been working the actual job with the crew, and I learned a whole lot more being able to do the job and see exactly what they're doing versus being in the class and looking at the books and things like that. So I actually learned a lot more just being out there and doing the actual work and getting to talk to the crew and getting to know the guys that's doing the job. It's been an awesome experience. I mean, all the guys I met out here, they're all great guys. Everybody is really, really nice people out here. I feel real lucky, that I get to train and be in this terminal because all these guys, they're experienced and they're just a good bunch. They're a great bunch of guys, and I feel lucky to have such a good team. Still, a lot of people I still haven't met here. So I still have to meet a lot more people and work different jobs. There's so many different jobs, that you can work when it comes to the railroad, that you're doing something different every day. So I'm going to be doing on-the-job training for 3 weeks. Oh, hey, Nadara. Oh, my sister just logged in. What's up? How you doing? What's good with you? Good to see you. Hey, is that Rachel? Looks like a good friend, my baby mama's sister, Rachel. Hey, how you doing? So yeah, 3 weeks of on-the-job training I have before we go back into the classroom on week 5. So I just finished up my first week, and I have about 2 more weeks of on-the-job training left, and then we're gonna go back into the classroom, learn some more stuff, and then we'll be doing more on-the-job training. So out of the 17 weeks, I have completed week 2. It's just a lot to take in. I mean, all the books and computer training we're doing and manuals and questionnaires. There's a lot. There's a lot to learn, a lot of homework. It's a lot to take in. I'm trying to stay focused, but I miss my kids at home. I miss my daughter a lot, and I'm just trying to hang in there and get through everything, and I want to try to get home next weekend so I can hang out with my daughter. That's the hardest part, is just being away from the family. So the job itself is great. It's exciting. It's different. It's something new. It's fun. I actually got to ride on a rail car last week. I rode on it a couple times. You call it riding the shove. So I was hanging on it, and I don't know if you ever seen a conductor hanging onto a rail car so that they can look for clearance and and get off quickly to switch a switch or something like that. So it's real common for switchmen and conductors to ride what they call the shove of a rail car. So I got to do that, and that was exciting to ride. I mean, it's nothing people you think about, you think it's scary. It's not like they're going 100 miles an hour. They're only going like probably not even 10 miles an hour when you're riding a shove. So it's not like you got to hang on and then, or you're going to fall off or something. So it's actually fun. Yeah, I actually also got to sit in the engine of the rail car this last week for the first time, working with the crew. So, you know, we make our movements and then we get in the engine and go to our next destination and drop off cars and come back and pick some up and take some back. So there's a lot of movements, and you get to ride in the engine quite a bit. So that was cool to finally be in the engine of a rail car and kind of see what it looks like and be, you know, sitting alongside the engineer and the rest of the crew. It's awesome. I mean, you know, I did a lot to get here as far as the homework and the research. But when you're actually here and you're doing it, it's surreal. You're just like, wow, you know, I'm actually here. So I'm just trying to take it all in, and you know, still trying to take in the training and everything. So I still got a long ways to go. I got 15 more weeks left of training. So I was pretty surprised they had us doing the on-the-job training last week. I thought we would do more classroom stuff, but they gave us a schedule and they sent us on our way and said, hey, you're going to be working just like one of the crew, and you're going to, you know, you're going to learn what each job is. And so it's a lot. It's cool to see all the jobs. I worked a couple different crews. Starting tomorrow, I'll be on a new crew, a new engine, a new work assignment. It'll be different than the ones I did last week. I'm looking forward to it. I heard this job is going to be a real interesting job. The assignment that these guys are doing on this one. So it's great. I got some new equipment. I know the last video I showed you guys some equipment that I got. So I wanted to show you guys some other equipment that we got. We got the famous lantern, the railroaders lantern. I can't say the damn word. Lantern, whatever. You know what I'm trying to say. So this is what we use at night. It's kind of, you know, you could say it's like a flashlight, but you know, there's different modes to it. There's the straight spotlight mode, and then if you click it over, it's like this whole part illuminates. And what's also cool about it, like there's a magnet, and it can stick to metal, so I can, when I'm making my connections to what they call glad hands or hanging hoses, I can stick this on the rail car and it sticks right to it because it's a magnet, and I can see what I'm doing, and I can make all the connections I have to make. And for the most part, as a railroader, as a conductor, you use this light for signaling the engineer. If it's nighttime and the engineer needs to know, you know, where you are, what you're doing, what he needs to do, you give him signals, you know. So if I was to kind of do this one here, I'm kind of telling him to go forward, go ahead, move the engine forward. If I take it and kind of do this, that means I'm counting cars. I'm letting him know how many rail cars we have coming up, and you know when to start slowing down, when to stop. I can give them one of these. That basically means to back up the engine. So it's fun. It's fun playing with this. It comes in handy when it gets dark out, just seeing where you're going, especially with all the snow we have up here, up north. It was a workout. I got to say, it was a workout last week working because the snow is so deep. Oh, Johnny Wan, what's up? How you doing, man? Oh, Pat, what's up with you? Long time no see. I haven't seen Pat since high school. What was I saying? Don't know. I can't remember what I was saying. But yeah. So the lantern. This is an awesome piece of equipment, most commonly used in railroading. You will see this, once you start working for the railroad, or you will get familiar with it. Let's see what else I can show you here. I got some different glove style this time when I was working. I wanted to try these out. These are like a mitt style. So these actually are great. I like how these are insulated. Check that out. I mean, these are thick. So these are awesome for the hand signs. Let's see. So I showed you guys, I showed you the light. I showed you the signals, or how we do the signals with the lights. Well, these are great for hand signs because they're huge. See how big that is. So if it's daytime, I don't need to use my light. So I use my hands to signal the engineer on what to do. So I can just say, hey, come towards me, If I want to go in between the engine to hook up hoses or something, you kind of give one of these 90-degree angle signals like, hey, you can do that. And he honks the horn, and he lets you know, he acknowledges that you're about to go in between the rail car to do some work. And when I'm done, I kind of back out of there, and he can see me, and then he knows that I'm done, that I'm clear. If I'm using my radio, I just tell him, hey, I'm clear. You can go ahead and, we can proceed with our next movement. I'm no longer working in between. So anytime I go in between the cars, he has to know it, because it'll be very dangerous for me to work in between and he doesn't know it, and I can get hurt. So it could be bad. So you gotta get those hand signals to give the engineer an idea of what you're doing. So I finally got to use those signals with the light in my hands. I got to use it last week when I was on the job training. And at first, I was all nervous. You learn all this stuff and then you practice it. But when you're on the job, you act like you forget everything you learned. You're like, people are watching you. People are expecting, well, you feel like everybody's expecting you to do, well. So you don't want to look stupid. It just makes you all nervous. So I felt more comfortable towards the end of the week doing my hand signs, because I just didn't want to mess up or screw up or give the engineer the wrong thing and mess him up, because, you're responsible for, the engineer, he can't see a lot. He has this big locomotive. He has maybe 15 to 20 rail cars. So he depends on you to tell him how far back he needs to go, when he needs to stop, especially when we're making a joint. And when we're making a joint, that just means we're connecting two cars together. And I need to let him know, when to stop, because he don't want to smash into that thing, because, that's going to cause like a whiplash, like up front where he's sitting. I got to be precise about what I see on my end to help him know what to do. So it's important as a conductor to give your engineer good hand signs and signals, and to be his eyes, basically. So I got to learn that, work on that. I still have a lot of work to do with my signals, and it's funny because a lot of guys, everybody has different signals, or they do it differently, or the engineer just knows that guy's style. And, over time, I have a certain way of doing it, and the engineer will pick up on that, and we can communicate better. But, me being new, it's just not, I still got to get to know the engineers a little bit so that we can be on the same page. But I also got my radio issued to me last week. So this is all this is pretty cool radio. It has a whole lot of different channels. It doesn't make all the staticky noises of the common radios. It's long range, a lot of features. I still have to learn a lot about this radio. And I actually brought it home so I can charge it. That's very important to do, is to, keep your radio charged. Last thing you want to do is be out there, and I actually had that happen. I was out there and my radio died, and luckily I had a backup battery. So I keep a backup battery just in case, we're working longer hours and my radio dies. I can pop in that battery and get recharged and back on the job. Hey, Amy, Twyla, Jose, what's up, you guys? I haven't seen some of you guys in a long time. Went to school with Amy, though. Yeah, we graduated in 95. Yep. That was like, geez, over 20 years ago. Wow. That makes me feel old. Okay. We won't talk about that, but let me show you this. These are godsend. All right. If you're in a UP and you're working in the snow and in the cold, these are what you call overboots, cover boots, whatever. You actually stick your boot inside this boot. So it's a boot inside of a boot. And this is really, it keeps your feet very warm. And it has like spikes on the bottom for traction so that you're not slipping, when you're working on the rails. You don't want to get hurt. You don't want to slip on a rail and bust your head out there. So these spikes really help you to stay planted. But check out the inside here. You can see that wool? It's like a wool installation in there. My first day on the job training, I was just wearing my work boots, and one of the engineers, he let me borrow a pair of these, and he was like, "Hey, try these on." And after that, I was like, "Wow, I'm sold." I went and talked to the one of my coworkers, and they helped me order a pair, which the company will provide these kind of work boots. And these go like right over my pants, and they come up pretty high, as you can see. And that snow is deep. So when I'm walking through that snow in these, or mud or water, there's nothing. I don't feel nothing, Some people, they wear snow pants and things like that, but it wasn't all that cold out, so I didn't want to get all bundled up in snow pants. But these, wearing some blue jeans and a pair of these, oh, you're good. My feet were still warm. These are great. They're insulated, and they're just a beast. I mean, I can walk in the snow and just tear it up and working in these things. Not only that, but it's good cardio. Yeah, you really get a good workout because like I said, you're still wearing your work boots, and then you put these boots over that, so you kind of got more weight on your feet. So I feel like I'm doing cardio when I'm out there working, especially in all that snow. So if you're gonna work on a railroad, or you plan on it, you want to get a pair of these. because especially if you're in the Midwest area where we get all this snow. I don't know back at home. I don't know if it's snowing or not, or how it is back there. But up here in the UP, tomorrow we're looking at another 4 to 5 inches. So they say that up here in the UP it snows through March. So it's going to be a while before we stop getting snow. So I'm going to keep wearing these bad boys right here. Yep, I think that's all for the equipment. So yeah, I just wanted to kind of let you guys know that everything's going good. Training is different than what I thought. Like I said, I thought we would be doing like a lot more class work or classroom stuff, but we're already in week 2 and we were already on the job training, and we've got 2 more weeks of on the job training. Then we're going back in the classroom. So they're switching things up. You know, we're going back and forth. We're in the class, on the job, in the class, and that's cool. I didn't expect that, but that's fine because you actually learn more going out and doing the job. And then when you come back to the class, you can say, oh yeah, I remember doing that. And you can relate better and kind of get a better understanding of what you're doing. So, yeah, I have to say that it's been a journey. As far as the area, I still got a lot to learn about the area. I've been, working quite a bit, so I really haven't had a lot of time to explore. I'm going to do some more exploring. So, I'm on the border of Wisconsin and Minnesota, and I can go either way. Minnesota is like a good less than 10 minutes across the bridge. I'm kind of in a touristy spot. Like right now, all the hotels are booked up because people are skiing and they're doing all the winter stuff, snowmobiling and all that stuff people love to do in the winter. So I'm kind of in the middle of that touristy area when everybody comes up here because they need snow. They need snow to go skiing and snowmobiling and snowboarding. So we got snow up here and people come up here, and so all the hotels are kind of booked up right now, and people like to come up here for snow. Me, I like to run away from snow. I'm not going over near it if I don't have to. I'm trying to get to where it's hot, but I gotta, finish out this training and try to get back to a sunny spot. Hasn't been crazy cold or anything like that. I mean, I wear a hoodie to work. I just put a couple layers on, throw a hoodie on, throw on. This is actually, this shirt is already have the reflective thing, tape on there or whatever, so I don't have to wear a vest when I'm wearing this shirt. So I can just put a hoodie underneath this and I'm good to go. And that's all I need. It's not really cold enough for me to wear like a thick coat, Some people do, but for me, it's like 30 degrees out here. So, I mean, it's not crazy cold or nothing. So yeah, that's that. As far as the hiring process for you girls and guys who want to change it up a little bit and look for a career on a railroad, I can tell you that the retirement is awesome. No, there is no better retirement pension like the railroad. When you work for the railroad, your spouse will get half of what you get. All right. So if you leave with over $500,000, your spouse is going to get 250 grand. And you put that together, now you guys are looking at $750,000. So retirement is awesome. And that's one of the reasons I decided to do it, because, I'm not getting any younger and I need to think about my retirement. So outside of 401k, there's that railroad pension, and you can't beat it. So if you're looking for a good pension and everything, then the railroad is a good place to be for that. The pay is great. You know, I can't, explain how much. I can't tell you how much you'll make because that all depends on a lot of variables. How much, like how much you work. If you're on the road, if you're working in the yard, it's just so much. It's really, I can't give you a dollar amount of what you can make. So, when I started, a lot of people asked the question, what's the pay for the railroad? How much can you make? And all this and that. And I can just tell you that there's a lot of money to be made. You just have to be willing to do the work and put in the work, and you can make good money. So, there's a lot of railroads hiring. There's CN, there's CP, CSX, there's BNSF, Norfolk Southern is hiring, Amtrak, Metro. I mean, I can go on and on. There's local railroads. There's the class ones, like I just mentioned, the CN, CP, Union Pacific. These are class one railroads. That means that they cover a good portion of the United States railroad system. So they're all hiring because the economy is picking up. And all, the railroads are moving freight. We're moving wood, coal, cars. We move stuff for UPS, and so we move a lot of different freight for a lot of different customers. And the economy's picking up, so we're doing a lot of shipping stuff. So now's a good time to get in. There's a lot of different positions you can apply for. You can, if you want to be like me, a conductor, which is also the same as like a switchman or a brakeman. They have openings for that. They have openings for this dispatcher, yard masters, train masters, a clerk. There's a lot. You just have to go on the websites, take a look. One good place to look for a job on the railroad is Indeed. All you have to do is type in railroad jobs, and you should see a bunch there. So, yeah, I mean, do your research. I went on YouTube and I did a lot of video watching, of other people that work for the railroad. So I got some, I did my homework and I followed a couple railroad workers on YouTube, and then I decided I wanted to give that a shot. So do your homework and kind of know what you're getting yourself into. Like for me, I'm 7 hours away from home right now. I guess you can say I relocated. You got to be willing to do that if you really want a job on the railroad, because you will travel a lot, and the job or the railroad or the job you want, you may not get that, and you might have to apply in another location or somewhere else. So if you might have to be willing to relocate to work for the railroad if that's how bad you want to do it. For me, I had the opportunity to do it. So I said, you know what, there's really nothing here for me here in Racine, other than my daughter and my kids. And other than that, I'm just kind of just bored of it all. So it's like, I'm ready to reinvent myself, do something new. So relocating, that was part of the journey, you're going to be out of your comfort zone at first, and that's okay. You'll get into the groove, and it's a part of life. So if you want to reinvent yourself, you want to change, then go ahead and apply for a railroad job. Um, things to expect. Well, my first interview was at Union Pacific, and there was about 17 other guys that came to that interview. It was different. It was probably an all-day thing. I'm gonna tell you that right off the bat. If you apply for a railroad job and you go to a hiring event, you expect to probably be there for at least 4 to 7 hours. You're gonna interview. You might have to do a hair test. All right. I haven't done it. I went to 2 different interviews for the railroad. I didn't do any hair tests at the hiring event, but I did hear that it's possible that they will take a hair test. So if you're doing drugs or something like that, you might as well not even come. All right. Because they're going to do a FRA hair test. And if you want to ever drive for DOT or anything like that, and you end up failing a FRA hair test, it might go into that database that you failed, and other jobs will see that. So if you don't think you can pass a hair test, which goes back about 6 months, don't even bother staying around for it. Just leave the interview, because you're better off coming to another event when you're good to go. The railroad does not tolerate drugs and alcohol. So if you have any kind of habit of drugs and alcohol, get help for that before you even think about a job on the railroad, because they do not tolerate it. The railroad it could be very dangerous. So they cannot have people on the job that are high and drunk working with rail cars. It's too much that can go wrong. You can kill yourself. You can kill other people. If you have to be sober when you're working. So I'm just going to let you know, if you plan on a job in a railroad, cut out the bad habits, cut out the drugs. If you got a drinking problem, fix it, and then apply. Don't bother applying if you can't pass the drug test. I'm going to tell you right now. It's just going to look bad for you. So just wait till you're good and then apply. So yeah, I actually went to Union Pacific first because Union Pacific had an opening in Milwaukee. All right. So of course that's closer to me. So, that's what I went for. The classes would have been held in Chicago. The company would have paid for that, since, it's not your fault that the classes are in Chicago. So they would have paid for that. They will pay for that. I didn't get the Union Pacific job, and I think it all worked out for the best, because I do like it here where I'm at. So I cannot complain. I think it all worked out for the best. So yeah, just know that at the interview, I heard there could be up to 80 people. I haven't seen one that big yet. Both times I went to interviews, there was about 17 guys. But what was funny is that I don't see any of the guys I interviewed with in the classes. So I'm assuming, actually there was one guy, but I didn't even know he was there until a couple of days later. He was like, "Oh, I remember you from the interview," and I was like, "Oh, you were there?" I didn't know, but only me and him were selected. So, shoot, excuse me here. Okay. 1 second. Okay. So yeah, only me and him were selected out of the 17 or 18 guys that went to our hiring event. The other people in my class, I think they were chosen out of a big event at at one of the hotels here in town. I heard it was about 30 guys that showed up to that one. So yeah, it's I don't know. I feel real lucky that, you know, out of all the guys, especially me being so far away, I was one of the guys selected. A lot of those guys were local guys, so I don't know how, you know, I don't know. I don't, you know, the way they pick people is, you know, they will take you with no experience. I know they like military. So you got military experience, you got a good chance. You know, I think all they care about is if you're clean, you know, if you can pass a drug test and you have a clean record. I'm not saying that you can't get hired if you have a bad record, because I've heard that they have hired people with, you know, some stuff on their record. I guess it just depends on you as a person, who you are, how you interview, and what you did and whatever. So they don't discriminate. I mean, they're not. If you have a bad record, don't be afraid to apply. I mean, at least try and explain to them what happened. But I've heard they've hired people with not so clean records, maybe because of maybe they had, you know, maybe they have military experience or something, or maybe they have experience working in extreme conditions like cold and hot. There's a lot of variables. I don't know. So I'm just saying that don't be discouraged by anything. If you don't have experience with the railroad, that's fine. I didn't. I had no experience whatsoever. So you don't have to know anybody to be hired. You don't have to have experience to be hired. So don't think that that is the case. Yeah. So just expect, you know, at a hiring event, there probably will be 2 or more people that you'll interview with. I think the main thing to know at a hiring event is honesty. They just want you to be honest. If you're not being honest and upfront about your criminal record or your previous work, your jobs and education, and they find out about it, then they're not going to tolerate that. So don't, you know, just be honest about everything, and you should be fine. I think that's really the only good advice I can give you as far as getting a job, is to show up on time, because I did see that there was a guy who came late at the Union Pacific interview. And the guy, one of the recruiters, actually he was a manager for Union Pacific, and he went up to the guy and was like, yeah, you know, what happened? These guys are here, you're late, what's going on? And he asked the guy to leave and wait 6 months to reapply. All right, so I'm just hoping that guy was from in town, because if he came from out of town like I did, and he came late and asked to leave, then that would suck. So be on time, you know, come to that hiring event about 30 minutes early, because they might even help you get interviewed faster and get out of there faster. So do not wait till last minute. So yeah, be on time, be honest, and be on your A game. Give a good interview. I didn't end up getting a job at Union Pacific for I don't know what reasons. Who knows? I don't know. Maybe they had enough people, whatever. But I did end up getting the job I'm at now about a week later, so it doesn't even matter. The only good thing about the Union Pacific job would have been that I would have been more local. I would have been closer to home. But I really like the company I'm with. I think this is the best match for me, and I think maybe it all worked out the way it's supposed to work out. Even though I'm further away, I'm gonna try to get my training, and then I'm gonna try to head back towards, Chicago, Illinois, Cicero, somewhere closer to home. You can do that on the railroad. You can transfer. You can transfer anywhere you want. I mean, I can go to California. I can go to, Texas, wherever. Is, if they approve the transfer, you can go. So I'm going to get my training done, and then I'm going to try to put in for a transfer back towards home and see how that goes. But right now, I'm just happy to be hired, and I'm just happy to be working for the railroad right now. So I can't complain. So yeah, I'm gonna start my third week of training tomorrow, and then I'll fill you guys in at the end of the week on how that was and what I learned and everything. But I just wanted to check in, let you guys know everything's going good so far. It's great. It's a different job, it's different. You never have another job like the railroad. It's these guys were just telling me all these crazy things about the job. Is stuff you wouldn't really understand because I don't understand it. But bidding for jobs, seniority. I can tell you right now that seniority in the railroad is huge. Seniority means everything when it comes to the railroad. As far as what where you can end up and what job you end up doing is all based on seniority. So with me being a new class coming in, we still have to figure out where our seniority is within the other classmates to see who's going to rank over who, because seniority is going to mean a lot. So I'm still waiting to see where I am seniority wise with the class I'm in and where everybody's going to end up being. So yeah, we started out with 17 people, and now we're down to 14 people already. We had 2 guys that dropped out, and one person was let go due to misconduct. Like I was telling you guys, there's a strict code of conduct with the railroad, and especially the company I'm with, they don't tolerate misconduct. And unfortunately, this particular person, they broke one of the rules of conduct, and they were let go effective immediately. It was sad to see this person go. I actually got to know him a little bit before he left, and we were all surprised by it. No one seen it coming. He made a stupid mistake, and we all learned from it. We all know what to do and not to do. I mean, it was hard seeing him go like that, but there is a zero tolerance for misconduct on the railroad. And that's not just on the railroad, that is in your life. So yeah, if you want to work for the railroad, you have to really be careful of what you're doing outside of work and inside of work, because you're representing your company, and if you're doing something that is out of the code of conduct, then you can be let go. And especially as a new hire, when you're not even in the union yet, we still have to wait. I believe it's 90 days from our class start date before we're even officially part of the union. So there's no protection. So you really just have to be careful of how you carry yourself, what you're saying to people, there's no tolerance for that, and with a lot of these railroad companies. So if you do end up working, just be careful. Yeah. So other than that, if you got any questions for me, just, I don't know, feel free to ask me, leave a comment. I'll answer the best I can. And I will try to keep everybody updated on what's new with me and my progress. I'm still trying to get through the training. I still have a lot to learn. So every day is a challenge to, it's funny because I look at this as like railroad boot camp. It really is. I mean, you got to have that discipline, just like in the Army. And like, we worked some pretty long hours our first week, and we were part of the crew. So whatever the crew was doing, we were doing it. I was actually asked by some of the guys I worked with if I wanted to go home after my shift. And I was like, no, you know what? I want to see what you guys do. I want to stick it out with you guys. I'm part of the crew, so whatever you're doing, I'm going to do it. And I think we worked a 12-hour day and a 10-hour day. So, there were some pretty long days. And then you get up and you go back and do it again. So I got to get ready for that next week, this or tomorrow, and continue the training. So yeah, just be prepared to work hard if you want to pursue the railroad. It is not going to be easy. It is very rewarding, I will say. The benefits and everything, very rewarding. So it's worth everything you're going to put in. I'm just hoping I can continue to get through the training and just pass everything that is required of me. So, yep, that's where I'm at. All right. Well, I don't know. I've been on here for almost, looks like 50 minutes already. So, plus my phone keeps ringing, and I gotta see what people want. So I'm gonna get out of here. But I'll keep you guys updated on my training. So yeah, I would just encourage you guys to apply if you're interested. And let me know if you get an interview, if you have a question about the interview, if you need any advice, feel free to ask me. I'll do the best I can to help you out. And we'll go from there. I'll keep you guys updated. All right. Peace out.